Welcome to A Course in Miracles, where you'll discover health and well-being through inner peace. Your host is Eloisa Ramos, EFT master and author of Beyond Self-Esteem, Discovering Your Boundless Self-Worth. Using EFT, the Ramos clearing technique, and the principles of A Course in Miracles, you'll learn how to open your mind to healing and to all that is inherently yours: deep fulfillment, vitality, joy, and inner peace.
Hello, everyone. This is Eloisa Ramos. Welcome to the program. Today we're going to be exploring the power of mind, what it is, and the teachings from A Course in Miracles around creating versus the self-image, and the central problem that A Course in Miracles helps us to address and helps us to bring us to a place where we can choose to see ourselves and to see the world differently. And A Course in Miracles refers to this central problem as an authority or an authorship problem. And so we'll be covering what that is. And I want to start, though, by looking at the idea of mind itself. When I work with clients, when I work with others, sometimes we use words and we're not using them with the same meaning, and that's one of the problems we always run into with perception, is that even though we're using the same words, sometimes the meaning can be set up quite differently in our understanding and in our experiences. So I want to give you a little bit of an analogy to help you understand the idea of mind, because we're going to be talking about the power of mind. And sometimes that gets confused. People associate mind with brain, with the actual physical body brain. So the way that I like to think about it is I'm going to use a computer analogy. Okay. Say that you don't really know anything about computers, and this is your first computer. You go to the store and you say, okay, I want to buy a desktop computer. So they show you what they have. You buy it. Now the thing is that this computer that you buy has no software. It doesn't come with any operating system. Okay, all of that you have to purchase separately. So you bring it home, you plug it in, you turn it on, okay, and does the computer do anything? No, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so the physical computer itself is what we call the hardware. Okay, the hardware is like the body. It's the physical tool that we use, okay? Now, the mind you can think of as the software. Now, the computer itself has a motherboard, and it has a central processing chip, and that's going to really be the brain, you could call it, the brain of the computer, the chip itself, okay? But that chip itself, or the brain, does not work or function if there is no software, if there are no instructions, if there is no information telling it what to do. Okay, so the software itself we can think of in terms of mind. Okay, it is information, it is awareness, it is consciousness, and it helps us decide, make decisions, conclusions. And so when you give instructions to the computer, then the computer does things for us. Okay, and that's the same thing. The Course in Miracles says that the body takes instructions from the mind. So we're looking at the mind as what actually runs the body. Okay, the software runs the computer. Now, when you think about the power of mind, okay, you can think about what is it that, let's see, that gives the power to the computer? Because if you have the computer and now you add software to it, okay, but you don't connect it to a power source, is that computer going to do anything? Is that software any good? No, it doesn't matter how much software you have in it, okay? You need to plug it into a source of power, all right? And so you can think of electricity or power as spirit or source or let's see, creative energy, life force. There's so many names for that, okay? But it is basically juice. It's what animates and makes things go. And therefore, when we talk about power of mind, we are talking about that spiritual power, okay, that is behind the processing that we do with our mind, all the learning and all the awarenesses, consciousness, that then gives instructions to our body so that we can act and have an experience in a physical world, okay? Okay, so there's a couple of things here. When we look at the power of mind, and of course, there's a lot written out there on the law of attraction, in how our mind attracts and basically, of course, in Miracles is saying that the mind is the cause, and what we see and experience in the world is the effect. The world is basically the effect, and therefore, when we look at those individuals who have really mastered the application of this law of attraction or law of cause and effect, there's two things that they have really connected to or accepted, okay? And one of those is that they understand that their beliefs and their thinking, okay, the software, is really the cause, okay, of what they are seeing and manifesting in the world, okay? And they fully accept responsibility for that, and that's responsibility without blame, okay, for what we perceive. So what shows up in our life, we take a look at it, and yes, we react to it, and we want to judge it good and bad. But fundamentally, the people that really work with the law of attraction recognize that there's no point in judging it. It is simply information that tells us how we are thinking and what needs changing or what needs healing within our own mind. Because if we keep attracting experiences that are painful and hurtful, okay, it's telling us that there is something in our thinking that's painful and hurtful, and that we need to go and evaluate what beliefs we are holding about ourselves or others that are actually the cause of that pain and of that effect in the world. Okay, okay, and so along with that, when we look at perception, okay, you can think about these beliefs that we have, and in particular the Course in Miracles calls there's only two belief systems, and one of them, of course, is the ego thought system. So you can look at that in terms of software. There's these programs, okay, that we refer to it in a kind of general way as ego, that determine what we project on our monitor, you could say, into the world. Okay, so it's what we witness to, it's what we represent. It's what we're going to teach, because everything that we believe, we will teach unconsciously and consciously. that's how our children pick up all kinds of things from us that we don't directly sit down and instruct them in. We learn from our parents' values. We pick up beliefs, all kinds of unconscious things. Okay, and so the second thing about people that understand the law of attraction and can work with that is that they also understand that this power of mind, okay, is actually not theirs individually. Okay, it's a shared power. We are plugged into it. Okay, and everyone's mind has it. And so, therefore, it is not just our individual source. There's not like billions of little sources walking around the world. There is one central source, and many people call that God. And by the mere fact that everybody shares in that power, we begin to understand that we are not separate, that we are all, in a sense, the same. Okay, because we're sharing this power from this source, and therefore, you could say we are all children of God, basically. Okay, because this is the creative energy that animates us. And so when they work with the law of attraction, what they're working with is their own creative power of their mind, but it's a co-creation because they understand that universal source or divine will or God is the primary power. Okay, and so that brings up. That brings us to what the Course in Miracles calls the authorship or authority problem. Okay, because what happens is that when we are not clear, or when we are confused, or when we don't recognize that. Or when we want to take, we want to take ownership of this power. What happens is that we will have to see ourselves as separate, because obviously, in order to believe that we are our own creative source, we cannot be connected to anyone else, and we cannot be connected to a higher source either. And so when the mind denies that it is part or shares in the same power that animates all the universe, okay, and sees itself and defines itself as a separate, bounded, quote-unquote self, okay, either by believing it's just a body or an independent will or ego, okay, we have what the Course in Miracles calls the authority or authorship problem, because we are believing that we are the authors of ourselves, okay? And so the problem that we get into that, okay, and I see it, of course, every time I'm working with EFT, is that when we have ideas that we can create ourselves, what we do is we generate self-images, and we see ourselves in a particular way, or we see others in a particular way. Let me see if I can give you an example of a self-image. So I can see myself, for example, as I look through my life and I kind of look at my past experiences, I can begin to make a self-image of myself and say, I tend to be a victim, or I tend to be someone that that others go to for help. So I am someone that's helpful, or I let's see, I am socially extroverted. That's my self-image. Or I am I take a lot of pride in being a good cook. So I am an amazing cook. And we can look at others and say, okay, well, this person is a good friend, and this person is not a good friend. This person is an enemy. This person, and when we do that, when we see them as this label or this category, we're giving them a definition, and we're putting a boundary on it. Okay, so once there's a label, there's a boundary, then that self-image is not unlimited. And that's one of the things that distinguishes the self-image, okay, from what the Course in Miracles tries to teach us to perceive as what we truly are, which is unbounded, eternal energy, power of mind, spirit, one with power of mind, spirit. So that the contrast is that when our identity is based at the level of spirit, we can see that we are all one, and that in sharing in that oneness, as the Course in Miracles says, my mind is a part of God's mind, and therefore my mind is holy. We begin to identify with Source, and we begin to see ourselves as already whole and complete, as God created us, as we were created. Okay, because when we don't accept that identity, what the mind ends up doing is it ends up creating or making. The Course in Miracles distinguishes between those two words. It uses the word making when it's not creating in likeness to Source, which is eternal and unbounded, and life-giving, etc. So when we are making up images of ourselves, let's see, what happens is that they become standards. They become standards from which we compare and we judge. So if someone had maybe a lot of things going for them in the world, maybe they were very successful, maybe they had some talents that opened up a lot of opportunities, say in music or in finance, or they became a public figure or something. Okay, you could look at that person and say, wow, that person is really full of potential and is really developing all that potential. And then one day something happens, and they get into a car accident, or they have a stroke, or something happens, or maybe it's not even a physical thing. Maybe their partner just out of the blue wants to separate, leaves them, no explanation or whatever, and that affects them deeply. And that change all of a sudden affects all of the other areas in their life, and now they are not able to continue the work they were doing, and so now they're, maybe they fall into a depression, maybe they're not able to continue with the commitments that they had in the world. Now, when you look at that person and you see the change that happened to that person, you're going to be looking at the image that you have of them, and you're going to be saying, "Oh, wow, that person's not themselves anymore. They're a shadow of what they were." Okay, and so the problem that we get into with self-images is that they're completely unstable, and therefore they're going to bring in a lot of fear, because when we identify with being a good parent, with being the smartest kid in my class, with anything, even with the negative labels. When I identify myself as being not good enough, okay, and then something shows up that challenges that, that's going to be a very possibly traumatic situation for us. And let me see if I can give you another example. Sometimes what we do is we can make a self-image of ourselves and then identify with it and say, for example, I am my point of view, all right? And so if I am my point of view and I begin discussing things with people, I am going to be very insistent and I'm going to be very invested in getting my point of view across and in making sure that others agree with me, because if I am my point of view, then if they don't agree with me, that's going to say something about me. It's going to feel personal. So I'm going to be very invested maybe in being right. And I'm going to defend my point of view. If someone criticizes my point of view, it may even feel personal. Okay, so we get personally involved in defending our self-images. Then that's why we call them ego, because then the egos start battling each other. Okay, and so let's see. I hope that's clear. That's how the Course in Miracles talks about creating versus the self-image, because when we make self-images, it is not in the likeness to the inherent power and nature of the power of our mind. So the mind, in terms of A Course in Miracles, is miscreating, because it is making things that are not reflecting back to the likeness of the source. Basically, that's what it is. And so it talks about our true creations, and it talks about being able to see our true creations once we are able to release and let go of perception. Let's see. Okay. Just looking through my notes here, see if there's anything else. I have a reflection that I like to read, and then we're also going to work. I have someone that offered to volunteer, and they're on the line, so I will be working with them in about 7 minutes. What we'd like to do, because it's very easy to make self-images for ourselves, and the instability that generates can make us be very determined to control reality. So if things don't happen the way that we expect them to, or if things are not according to how we think they should be, or if things, or if someone is not meeting the criteria of what our definition of girlfriend or boyfriend is, okay, we're going to be upset. We're going to have a problem. We're going to have a reaction, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to take reality, which is already created by Source, okay, and we're trying to say, look, I am the creator of Source, and reality is supposed to conform to the way that I think and the way that I perceive things should be. And it becomes almost a survival thing, because if reality doesn't conform to that, we almost go into survival, because that's telling us, wait a minute, what we are believing, all these self-images are not really real. They're not truth, because truth is universal. Okay, perception is subjective. And let me read something from Chapter 3 of A Course in Miracles. Image is always perception related and not a part of knowledge. Images are symbolic and stand for something else. The idea of, quote, changing your image, unquote, recognizes the power of perception, but also implies that there's nothing stable to know. Okay, and so we become really scared. I mean, we look at the world, and it's always changing. What stability is there? There isn't. Okay, any stability. And so, if we don't go deeper, if we don't go inside and really connect to something inside that is stable in the sense that it is unbounded, that it is part of the source and spirit of life, that can actually ground us through all the change that we experience at the physical level, life can be pretty challenging and scary. And so what I'd like to try to do after I read this reflection is try to tap with someone that's volunteered to tap with me, because we want to be able to connect inside to that place within where source connects, and that will give us an experience, okay, that's going to go beyond perception, because it's going to give us an experience that is unbounded. And that's really the only way to begin to understand what we truly are at the depths of our being, and to go beyond the conceptual definitions of what we think we are and what we think others are and what we think the world is. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing our volunteer in 5 minutes, and I'm going to read this reflection right now. I am perceiving a world that is not real. If I am perceiving it, still I want to insist that it should be real because I am perceiving it. I'm not happy with the idea that perception is not showing me truth or reality. Why? Because I trust my perception. And if it's not trustworthy, I feel betrayed by my perception, even though it's great news because it releases me from my fearful perceptions and from instability. Still, I feel betrayed by my own perceptual mind because I expected to be truth and to be stable and to be eternal, and it is not. But since the perception is mine, I must be making that perception. I must be making it that way. I must be making it subjective. And so why would I do that? Why would I make perception subjective and inaccurate and limited? Well, I made it so that it would hide truth. What other reason would there be? So that I would see whatever I wanted to see without regard for truth. But why? I want to oppose reality and truth. I wished that I could be source, because that would mean I could be more powerful. I still have that wish. That's why I judge reality lacking and insufficient, as if that would change it, or my rejecting hurt it or oppose it in some way. Okay, reality truth just is. it's in the present moment. Nothing can change it. Nothing can touch it. It just is. I can react to it any way I want. I can hate it. I can badmouth it. I can judge it unfair. It doesn't change it. Since I am a part of that reality, I'm only reacting and opposing myself, the self I think I am. My perceptions and my reactions to reality reflect my own thinking, how I see, because the perceiving mind is not separate from what it perceives. So, when I forgive what I see, I forgive myself and release my internal reactions of conflict. And I give myself the experience of peace and total loving acceptance. This is the only thing in this world that will make me truly happy, because in that experience, I know my true self. I connect to what I am that never changes and is eternal and one with Source. Okay, and let's see if we can do some tapping to help us have an experience and connect to what is already within us. I'm going to bring my volunteer. Hello, are you there?
Hi, Eloisa.
Hi.
Hi, this is Alex.
Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
I am doing good, and I just found out something shocking, so I don't know if I should take the opportunity to share it with you. I first want to say thank you for all your help throughout these last perhaps 2 years on and off, where I've been in pretty difficult situations, and your help actually brought a lot for me, like a lot of comfort, to say at least. And I was able to survive these last 2 years. As you know, I got sick, and then I was laid off, and they were telling me I have cancer, and that brought up a lot of emotions and a lot of panic and panic attacks, and then also the fact that I was not finding work. So tapping with you and learning about myself throughout these last couple of years or a year and a half, definitely I can say it saved my life at most of the times. So I want to say thank you for doing this for us.
Oh, you're so welcome. Alexandra, I want to see if we can help you. And I know you said you just have some news, but I'm wondering if we can work with something to just de-stress you, and not necessarily work with the news that you got right now, because what I'd like to be able to help the listeners do is use the tapping to de-stress themselves, and then take it a bit further to see if they can connect with the deeper source that is within all of us, that is our ultimately source of comfort and stability and joy and peace. And so what I wanted to do, if it's okay with you, was do the breathing technique that Dr. Sylvia Hartman uses, because it helps. It's helpful in bringing the attention to the present moment, and it's really important when we're working with EFT to try to keep the attention in the present moment, because that's where all the healing is. That is where we connect with Source. And so, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do, and everybody can tap along, of course, is we're going to do just a de-stressing. It's a generalized de-stressing that anyone can use at any time. So you begin by giving it a number. So right now, obviously, since you said you just released some shocking news, how stressed are you feeling, 0 to 10?
I'm in a bit of a panic in my mind.
Okay.
Because I'm at about an 8. My top of the head is pretty cringed, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And I found out that my health insurance has been erased from the system, and now I've been trying to pay it, and my agent just checked, and he says, you don't even show up in their system anymore. So that brought like a panic to my mind.
Of course.
Of course. Where am I turning to? What is happening? And
okay,
so I'm a little bit excited.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry.
So
but,
I'm excited. Yeah, I am at about 8.5 or so.
Okay. All right. So, and from what I heard, I can also tell that that's a survival thing, right?
It is a survival thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a survival thing. So we're going to try to see if we can get you out of that. We're just going to do the round with the breathing first. And if we're not able to release that, then I'll use the Ramos clearing that I do with the muscle testing to see if we can get you out of the survival first. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to start by putting both of our hands at the center of our chest. It's not. This is not the official version of EFT. So, but it does use most of the same tapping points. So you start at the center of the chest, and you take a deep breath, and you release. And then you want to use a word that would help you to just calm down and de-stress. Is there a particular word that you want to use?
Nothing comes up right now. Everything that comes up is like panic. What am I going to do? So I don't really know what to do
so
now.
maybe we can use something like
it's all well. It's safe. I'm safe. I'm well.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Or if you have a better suggestion, I'm open.
No, that's perfect. What you just said. Okay. So we can just breathe, and we're just going to say, I'm safe. Okay? Deep breath. I'm safe. Mm-hmm. And then deep breath again. I'm safe.
I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. And then deep breath again. I can be safe.
I can be safe.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we're going to go to the top of the head, and we're going to take a deep breath. Okay. I can be safe.
I can be safe.
Okay. And then notice if you're able to bring your attention inside as you're tapping to your breath. Okay. Next point, there's a point in the middle of the forehead. It's the third eye point. So take a deep breath. I can be safe.
I can be safe, and my mind does not believe that.
Okay. All right.
In this moment, my mind is saying, are you kidding me?
That's right. That's right.
What my brain is saying to me.
Okay,
sorry,
good. So, no, that's good. So we go to the beginning of the eyebrow. Okay. Deep breath. So my mind is not buying that I'm safe. Okay.
No.
Okay.
My mind is sarcastically laughing at me.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to acknowledge that. We're just going to say, okay, I'm saying something that's not believable. Okay.
I'm saying something that's not believable.
Yeah, side of the eye, deep breath. I'm saying something that's so unbelievable, it's worth laughing at.
I'm saying something that's so unbelievable, it's worth laughing at.
That's right. Okay, under the eye, we're going to take a deep breath. Okay, but what if I don't have to believe it?
What if I don't have to believe What?
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? That
yeah,
I'm safe?
What if I can be safe even if I don't believe it?
Yeah, that makes sense. What if I can be safe even though I don't believe it?
That's right, under the nose. That's right. So take a deep breath. So
and now my mind opened up. My pressure on my brain opened up a little bit.
Okay, good. So go to the under the nose, deep breath. Okay. So what if my safety is beyond what I believe?
What if my life safety is beyond what I believe?
Mm-hmm. And then go to
that
the chin
opens
point.
up the stress even more.
Okay, good. So go to the chin point. Deep breath. What if my safety is established beyond my beliefs?
What if my safety is established beyond my belief?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then collarbone, deep breath. Okay. What if my safety is assured and a gift from Source?
What if my safety is assured and a gift from Source?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we're going to do the finger points, the thumb. Okay, deep breath.
So at this moment I'm doubting that the Source can offer me. So that's I'm just explaining the process. I hope.
Good. Thank you.
I don't know.
Yep. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, so go to the thumb, deep breath. Okay. So I have some doubts about the power of Source.
I have some doubts about the power of the Source that it can offer me safety unconditionally.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
Maybe?
And then the next finger. Yeah, next finger, deep breath. I have these doubts that Source is powerful enough to offer me unconditional safety.
I have these doubts that Source is powerful or willing to offer me safety unconditionally.
Okay. All right.
And I feel actually rebellion, a little bit of hostility towards the Source, which is terrible. I'm feeling guilty too.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. That's right. That's fine. So let's go to the next finger. Deep breath. So even though I'm feeling rebellion and guilt.
I'm feeling rebellion and guilt. I'm feeling
because
like I want to argue with the Source.
That's right, because I don't want to believe that it's that powerful.
Because I don't want to believe that it's that powerful, and I'm revolted at how could the Source do this to me, just to leave me in free fall again. That feels like
okay, all right.
So how did why did the Source put me again into this, like, trust exercise?
That's right. Because
nerve-wracking. This is nerve-wracking at a point.
Okay, all right.
Test me again.
Okay, so some of the associations and some of the issues that you have with God and or Source are showing up, which is good. That's what tapping does for us. Is it brings up all these subconscious associations that are getting in the way of us connecting with that Source within. Why would you want to connect with Source if you don't trust it? And in fact, if you blame it for the misfortunes that you have experienced, there's no reason for you to want to connect to that Source, right?
I do want to connect, but I don't like this treatment. It's silly. That's just what it comes up.
Okay, all right. So go to the next finger. Deep breath.
How dare you? How dare you put me through this again? Oh, whoever,
That's right.
me, myself, or you, the Source?
That's right. So even though I'm blaming Source for all my problems.
I'm kind of blaming Source for all my problems. It's just not completely, but like I'm like wondering, I'm talking out loud.
Yeah.
It's not blaming my heart. It's blaming. It's my mind. I can feel my heart is not blaming. My heart is in peace actually, but my mind is in a survival mode. And
that's right. And when we're in a survival mode, what happens is that there's a threat, and so the mind wants to find that threat, and so it's looking around and it's saying, okay, well, who's to blame, because there's a threat here and I need to assure my safety, okay, because the survival mode is about surviving, and therefore it needs to find what the threat is and eliminate it, basically defend against it. Okay, so the mind has to make up. It has to find something to blame, because that's how it's going to believe that it is safe. That's its solution. Okay, that's part of its solution to how it can make itself feel safe. Okay, but your heart knows differently. Is that right?
Yeah, my heart is at the same peace, and now it's generating a lot of warmth. So it's continuously generating warmth. So I know it's a safe space in my heart.
Okay. So that's where we're going to go, Alexa. That's where I want your attention to go. Okay. I want you to focus when you take a deep breath. I want you to see as if that breath is coming in and out from that warmth that's coming from your heart. Okay? Okay, so go to the karate chop and take a deep breath. This warmth from my heart.
This warmth from my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then go back to the center and take a deep breath. Okay. This warmth from my heart.
This warmth from my heart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just yawned, so.
Good. So we're going to do another round, okay? And we're going to continue focusing on the heart area. And go to the top of the head. This peace and warmth coming from my heart.
This peace and warmth coming from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
My heart knows I'm safe.
There you go. So we're in the middle of the forehead now. Deep breath. My heart knows I'm safe.
My heart knows I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. The beginning of the eyebrow. Deep breath. And I know I'm safe.
I know I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. Side of the eye. My heart is telling me that I'm safe.
My heart is telling me that I'm safe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, under the eye, deep breath. I am feeling safe.
I'm feeling safe.
Mm-hmm. Under the nose, deep breath.
But I want a resolution for my health insurance.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So, deep breath. I'm feeling safe, but I still want this resolution.
I'm feeling safe, but I still want this resolution.
Mm-hmm. Chin point. Deep breath. My mind is so focused on finding a resolution.
My mind is so focused on finding a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Or an explanation on why that happened. How could I be erased from their database?
That's
I completely
right. That's right.
It even says I canceled, which is not true. So I feel outraged a little bit in my throat. How is this possible?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Deep breath. So my mind needs to find a resolution.
My mind needs to find a resolution.
Because this feels like a threat.
It feels like threat. Yeah.
Okay. And it takes me out, and it takes my attention out of the peace that's in my heart.
And it takes my attention out of the peace that's in my heart. That's true.
That's right. So you want to bring your attention back to your heart. Okay. Deep breath, collarbone. But I am safe. My heart says so.
But I am safe. My heart says so.
That's right. Okay, and then the thumb, deep breath. I choose to trust my heart.
I choose to trust my heart.
And then next finger, deep breath. I know that there's a problem to be resolved.
I know that there's a problem to be resolved. Now I'm feeling dizzy.
Okay, all right.
In my head.
But I choose to trust my heart.
But I choose to trust my heart.
Then the next finger, deep breath. Yes, there's a problem to resolve.
Yes, there's a problem to resolve.
But I choose to trust my heart.
But I choose to trust my heart.
Next finger, deep breath. I choose to trust my heart.
I choose to trust my heart.
To know that a resolution is coming.
And I know that a resolution is coming.
Then next finger, deep breath. I choose to trust the warmth and love in my heart.
I choose to trust the warmth and love in my heart.
Yeah, and a karate chop. Deep breath. I choose to believe that I am safe.
That I am safe.
Even when I have a problem to resolve.
Even when I have a problem that is unsolvable, looks like.
Yep. Back to the center. I can be safe.
I can be safe.
Because I can trust.
Because I can trust.
That even with an unsolvable problem. Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
With trust.
With trust.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. How are you feeling? Because let's see. I'm going to check on the time. Yeah, so how are you doing now?
So I was at 8.5, and now I'm at maybe a 7.5. I'm okay. My mind is more relaxed than it was. My brain, I was feeling much tension in my brain, in my head. Now it's like a point less 7.
Okay,
or so.
All right. So your mind, the stress in your mind.
My heart a little bit took over. My mind. So I got from the warmth and the peace that it was in my heart. It helped the stress in my head.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one more quick round, because what we want to do is we want to expand that peace in your heart. Okay. So that it's the predominant power there. So let's do one more. We have time to do one more round. Okay, deep breath. Center of the chest, 2 hands. Okay, this warmth and trust in my heart.
This peace in my trust, this warmth and trust in my heart.
Okay, deep breath. This peace in my heart.
This peace in my heart.
Deep breath. This peace in my heart that exists even when there's all this conflict in my mind.
This peace in my heart that exists even though there's conflict in my mind.
Okay. Top of the head. This peace that is present within me.
This peace that is present within me.
And then middle of the forehead, deep breath. This deep peace that is within me.
This deep peace that is within me.
Beginning of the eyebrows, deep breath. This deep peace that is a part of me.
This deep peace that is a part of me.
Side of the eye, deep breath. This peace.
This peace. And assurance that something good is coming to me. Something great is coming up.
Okay.
Like now I kind of know in my mind that the source is going to surprise me beautifully.
Okay. Wonderful.
Or it's going to turn all this distress and bad happening into something really good and like a miracle.
Okay. Under the eye, deep breath. This peace that's within me.
This peace that is within me.
Under the nose. This peaceful reassurance.
This peace for reassurance.
And the chin point. This peaceful comfort and reassurance.
This peace for comfort and reassurance.
Collarbone, deep breath. I can rest in this peace.
I can rest in this peace. And I can believe now. My brain believes that the source has good intentions for me.
Good.
Or good things in store for me. Now my brain believes that.
Okay, good. Okay, so now go to the thumb, deep breath. This deep peace that I trust.
This deep peace that I trust.
Next finger, deep breath. This deep peace that speaks the truth.
This deep peace that speaks the truth.
Next finger, deep breath. This peace that is always with me.
This peace that is always with me.
Next finger. This comfort and safety that's always with me.
This comfort and safety that the source always offers me.
Okay.
This support that the source always offers me. Now it comes up like this, like I trust the support always comes from the source in miraculous ways.
Yes, okay. And then the next finger, deep breath. My trust is in this source.
My trust is in the source.
Karate chop, deep breath. My trust is in this source.
My trust is in the source.
And then back to the chest. My trust is in this source because I am not separate from it.
My trust is in the source because I am not separate from it.
Okay. Okay, and unfortunately our time is up, Alexandra, but I'm so grateful that you were able to work with me. Thank you so much.
And I'm very grateful, and now I'm at about 3, so that was quite distressing exercise.
Yes.
And we achieved what we were hoping.
Yes.
To. Thank you.
So thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's the end of the hour here. I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope that you'll join me in 2 weeks and we will explore some of the other ideas that the Course in Miracles offers us to help us connect with that inner peace, that power of mind that is stable and always there to support us in anything that we are experiencing. So thank you and blessings to everyone.
For more information about EFT, muscle testing, working with Eloisa, and to download a free version of the Ramos clearing technique, visit www.healingwitheft.com.